Grammy goes to
the college dropout, Kanye West.
Y'all might as well get the music ready, because it's finna take a while. When I had my accident, I found out at that moment, nothing in life is promised except death. If you had the opportunity to play this game of life, you need to appreciate every moment. A lot of people don't appreciate their moment until it's past. And then you gotta tell those Al Bundy stories. You remember when I? But right now is my time and my moment, thanks to the fans, thanks to the accident, thanks to God, thanks to Rockefeller, Jay-Z, Dame Dash, G, my mother, Rhyme Fest, everyone that's helped me. And I plan to celebrate. I plan to celebrate and scream and pop champagne every chance I get, because I'm at the Grammys, baby. I know everybody asked me the question. They wanted to know what kind. I know he's gonna wild out and he's gonna do something crazy. Everybody wants to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
I always felt like I could do anything. That's the main thing people are controlled by. Thoughts, their perception of themselves. They're slowed down by their perception of themselves. If you're taught you can't do anything, you won't do anything. I was taught I could do everything. And I'm Kanye West at age 36.
Art support.
When this goes online or whatever it is, it really matters, and it like really doesn't matter. What matters is, you know, the people who are sparked by it and the people who are like offended by it. It doesn't fucking matter. Fuck you, you know, like, because it's about motivating the doers. And you know, people can write all they want, but what are people doing? And if there's anybody that's out there doing, they know how hard it is to actually do. If everything I did failed, which it doesn't, it actually succeeds, but if everything I did failed, just the fact that I'm willing to fail is an inspiration. People are so scared to lose that they don't even try. It's crazy that we live in a world that if you're super positive and super creative, that it's scary. So what does that tell you about the mentality of most people if you're scared of like positivity and creativity?
People don't stand up and protect their dreams. People are too scared of getting, you know, spoofed in a way. And the irony of it is so many people that are creatives, think about a creative person in school. When you picture them, you probably picture them all the way in the back of your class, sketching or maybe getting beat up. And I'm the one creative, and this is the reason why I went on stage. This is the reason why I did this, because creatives have got beat up my entire life. And there's moments where I stood up to drug dealers in Chicago and said, you can't have my publishing, come and kill me. Do whatever you're gonna do, but you're not going to bully me. You're not going to stop me, because my mother made me believe in myself. No matter how many people tell me, stop believing in yourself. Stop saying what you can do. Stop affirming what you're gonna do and then completing that in real life. That's the improper way to do it. I refuse to follow those rules that society has set up in the way that they control people with low self-esteem, with improper information, with branding, with marketing. I refuse to follow those rules. It's about truth, it's about information, it's about awesomeness, and the only luxury is time. The time you spend with your family. That's the only luxury. Well, they need to be able to express themselves without fear of judgment. What I love telling people is like, who do you know? And let's go, especially black men, but You know, I'm 41 years old, and I don't know anyone, you know, that up as much as I have, that's still as successful. So I want to prove that you can get fat, you can say the wrong things, you can piss a whole
And you
city
can be
off.
president of the United States.
Well, yeah, it's yeah.
When I had my accident, I found out at that moment, nothing in life is promised except death. If you had the opportunity to play this game of life, you need to appreciate every moment. A lot of people don't appreciate their moment until it's past. Everybody asked me the question. They wanted to know, what kind? I knew he's gonna wild out and he's gonna do something crazy. Everybody wanted to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know. Every day when you go to the gym, when you go to work, it's a challenge. You gotta work hard and you have to completely, tirelessly, countlessly, remind people of your vision.
Yeah.
No matter what. Anyone that's creative understands that there's no amount of money that can be given to them to make them not want to or have to create.
Yeah. There's no checkout.
There's no checkout and there's no check to stop you.
I showed people that I understand how to make perfect. Dark fantasy could be considered to be perfect. I say, I know how to make perfect, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to crack the pavement and make new grounds, sonically and society, culturally. But I'm not here to make easy listening, easy programmable music.
No, you're so off the reservation on this album in the best possible way.
Just place a thought out there that everyone's not thinking sometimes. Galileo, they want to chop his head off for saying that the earth, what do you say, the sun revolved around the earth,
Right.
vice versa. So when you have modern,
But the sun-
futuristic, I'm not concerned about the specifics, sir.
Right. Do you ever regret anything you say, or is it just like you just look at it like, hey, I put it out there, it's out there, there's no point in regretting it?
I think people focus too much on the past and focus too much on regret. We get too caught up in the past and what everyone's saying and what everyone's tweeting, and sometimes you just have to be fearless enough to break the simulation.
Lucky because I'm from Chicago, and because I'm from Chicago, I don't give a fuck. So I care, but don't give a fuck. That's what it is. Like someone from Chicago is very sincere. They got their heart like that, but they don't give a fuck about what anybody is saying as long as it's from their heart. The one thing I want to say is people say I'm a hypocrite, right? People say that, right?
Some.
Yes, I am. 100%. I'm a human being. So it's cool to be up here with the 3 people that I've screamed at the most in the past year. I know you're thinking like, where's my suit jacket? But if my wife's not here, no suit jacket. I completely, I have absolutely no plans for what I'm gonna say, so this could land completely wrong. But it doesn't really fucking matter, does it? If you don't like 10-minute profanity-written speeches that end with a presidential bid, you can go to the bathroom. So, it was cool. I think it really brought me back to bump into Philip Lynn right when I walked in, because he definitely remembers that kid that was coming back from another major award show moment of mine, working on a new album, trying to find and carve his way back into America, back into society. And I would come by his studio and play him songs, and I'd see fabrics he was working with and ask him to take like this
girl's suit jacket and turn it into a guy's suit jacket or something that I actually wore in the scene in Runaway. If anybody's ever seen Runaway, and I'm standing on top of the piano, it's like Philip custom made that for me. And you know, after you know, the infamous Taylor Swift moment, I sort of like did a little self-exile just to get away from paparazzi and have people that, you know, just fucking with me, really, constantly. And the first thing I did was I went to Japan, and it was me and Virgil Abloh, who has the brand Off-White, and we sat there and just sat on the computer every day with this idea of design. And we designed on the computer so much we started to joke like, hey, did you watch my JPEG? Because they, you know, never got past the computer screen. And I remember doing all these like Fendi ideas because I was friends with Michael Burke, and he said I can move to Rome for a little bit, and I did that. And me and Virgil went out there, and I didn't have a phone. He was like, you know, if you wanted to contact me, you had to call the hotel or call Virgil, and we would go in the office and we put our little designs up on the wall and our mood boards. So basically, as I talk, it's just a mood board. That's my new style of speeches, and so it's very unorthodox. It's vibes. You know, you guys are designers. You know how to put it all together at the end of the night. Or feel free to just talk shit. You know, it's good to have someone to talk shit about. You know, at least everyone's so like, just don't want people to talk shit about me. I don't give a fuck, you know. So we were there at Fendi, and we were like putting together our.
Every time I crash the internet, it's like this little drop of truth. Every time I say something that's extremely truthful out loud, it literally breaks the internet. So what are we getting all of the rest of the time? I don't care about having a legacy. I don't care about being remembered. The most important thing to me is like, while I'm here, while we're having fun, while we're going to sleep and breathing oxygen and living life and falling in love and having pain and having joy, it's like, what can I do? What can I do with my voice? What can we do for each other to make life easier, make life doper for our kids, you know, as they grow? You know, we were born into a broken world, and we're like the cleanup crew, you know. My mother made me believe in me. When I was growing up, I wanted to make video games. My mom got this Amiga computer when I was in 7th grade, and it had 4,096 colors. I found myself running home to use this sound program that allowed me to place a note, it would stay, place another note, it would stay, place another note, it would stay, and that's how I learned how to produce in 7th grade. And I was just really making the music to make video games. They just let me dream. They supported me. They pushed me. They didn't set me up to be inside of a box. What's the main thing that makes magic magic? The fact that no one believes it's possible. When I entered the fashion world and I encountered a lot of elitism and all that, it just made me happy. It was something fun. We had the entire world against us. It was like absolutely no allies whatsoever, you know what I mean? It was like the world was against us. The pressure of that was like crazy. It was like a Super Bowl. I remember sitting there with my fashion publicist, Deborah, and we were supposed to do the Reese's. This is the thing where the editors after the show, they come back to see it and see if they like the collection. And we had like 2 or 3 people that came to see it and take a picture with Kanye and blah, blah, all this type of stuff. I say, do we have any more editors coming? And Deborah just looked and said, no one else is coming. And I looked at her and said, this is great. Remember this moment, because it won't always be like this. Embrace this moment where no one came to see the collection. I take, things that people look at as a negative as an inspiration to do something better. I think there's school teachers that are the exact same mission as me. I think there's police officers with the exact same mission as me. Just help. Just do everything you got. Give everything you got. And, our focus needs to be less about what our legacy is going to be or how we're going to control each other, but more how we can give to each other.
Kanye, you join us today to be recognized for your transformative, genre-defining work across music, performance, film, and fashion design. Your visionary and ambitious career is a true reflection of the creative spirit. So, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors of the School of the Arts Institute of Chicago and the Board of Trustees of the Art Institute of Chicago, I now confer upon you the degree of Honorary Doctorate of Fine Arts. Dr. West.
I'm sorry, that was just my opinion. I am a pop artist. So my medium is public opinion, and the world is my canvas. I'm sorry is something that you can use a lot. It gives you the opportunity to give your opinion, apologize for it, and give your opinion again. People say, you should not be sorry for your opinions. George Bush has some very cool self-portraits. I didn't know he was an artist. I felt my nerves a bit, and I don't feel that feeling a lot. The nerves of humility and modesty when being honored. A humanization, a reality of being recognized. And all I thought as I sit here, kind of shaking a little bit, is I need to get rid of that feeling. I need to not be nervous. This honor is going to make your lives easier. 2 reasons. You don't have to defend me as much. And I'm gonna make all of our lives easier. We recorded the last album in Jackson Hole, and I've just been looking to get a place, but I've been looking to get a place here, and I was looking for a multi-thousand acre property, and Jackson Hole didn't have any properties available over 500 acres, because I was looking for a place to set up the Yeezy campus. So we found out about Cody and we came here, and when I first got to the ranch, I was expecting something really green because that's what I was used to. So I didn't like it when I first got here. And
Too
then,
barren?
Yes, but by the time it was time to leave, I loved it. And I was like, wow, these are actually the Yeezy tones right here.
It's true. It's true.
It actually is the palette. Now that I'm thinking about that, that makes me kind of want to put the other jacket back on. I'm like, wow, I want to wear.
The fleece is good. You look good.
Yeah. And the fleece just feels like, you know.
It's in the
this would be-
Jesus is King palette.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense also.
You talked about Yeezy.
And people will wear fleece 10, 20 years from now. It's more of a future.
Well, I wanted to ask you about
idea.
20 years from now. You talk about Yeezy Camp. What is this place in 20 years?
I have some visions, but the more that I'm in service to God, I just clear my head and just wake up more empty every day, and let God do the driving and just use me as He may. So you know, you make plans and God laughs. So if I told you the plans, I could tell you what would happen 6 months from now, not 20 years from now. So we're building farms here because of the climate and because of the soil. We're gonna have hydroponic cotton, wheat, hemp.
Grab C. You remember this place?
Yeah.
Graduation?
Yeah.
I was also thinking
It's
about
cool,
some of the other
yeah.
things we've done as well, which with the BBC, like Abbey Road, sprung to mind with the strings.
Oh yeah, that was good. That suit was like, I would have worn something different if I could look back right now. I could still do a suit, I just wouldn't have done that exact lapel situation.
But talk about like really putting yourself on the line with that, you know? I mean, that was, you know, so early on for you to be stepping in a room with that many players and that kind of, just give yourself that objective. I mean, what are your thoughts when you think back about Abbey Road with this? It's just nuts.
I thought it was good. I thought it was what I was supposed to do at that time.
Yes.
You know, if I see something, I see an opportunity, I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We only, you know, we're all gonna die one day.
Yeah, it's true.
So we live like that. Live like you could die tomorrow. You know, go for it. You know, those steps of what have allowed that. Those steps have been the you know, the platforms that allowed me to make it this far.
And you have, man, and we're here, and you know, 6 albums, original albums of your own, a Throne record, various records with good music to talk about, man. But seriously, Yeezus, bravo, dude. I mean, that is one of the most creative records of, you know, of any genre I've heard in a very, very long time. And you know, just in terms of your output, your most exciting sounding record, I think.
Oh, thank you very much.
You know.
Yeah, I feel, you know, I was able to start just making exactly what was in my mind again, and not having to speak with the textures of the time. Because, you know, Cruel Summer is definitely Kanye West, and there's something kind of weird and off about Mercy, like when it has the high pitch, that type of sound. It sounds like art still a little bit, even though it's obviously was a radio smash. But it's still, when I, you know, get into the idea like the trap drums and things like that, there are certain, you know, songs that are blatant, you know, radio hits. It's like I'm speaking with today's textures, and that's, you know, and if you look at it 200 years from now, it's not going to stand out in the way that, you know, 808s or Yeezus stands out and completely can push or redefine or make people say, you know, hey, I completely hate that or I completely love that, but let me just think differently, because everybody is like bound to these, you know, no pun intended, they're bound to 16 bars and 8 bars and, you know, the normal radio, the radio thing. I was talking to Frank Ocean about this and said, like, you know, my mom got arrested for the sit-ins, and now we're more like the sit-outs, like sit off of radio.
Yeah.
And say, hey, radio, come to us.
Yeah.
You know, we need to find something new because it's being, you know, controlled in a way and manufactured in a way that, really awesome, artists, can make amazing music and not break as far past as like something that's very like formulaic.
So it almost feels like a duty to you in a weird way, having the people's
Yeah.
ear, having people's attention, and for great music to be able to say, well, if I'm not challenging them,
Now for months, and I'm so excited that I've gotten to know you so like I have, but there's a lot of things that people don't know about you that I think that is so interesting for me when I sit and talk to you so often that I want other people to hear. So like for starters, why here, why now?
Well, it's, as everyone knows, it's sometimes difficult for me to, deal with the press. And they've, at this point, it's almost like an agenda, to write me into a certain type of story.
Yeah.
And I felt like this was a place where, I could express myself with love, with no agenda, to
Yeah.
just sort of be, safe. Yeah.
So, a safe place where I think what I've learned about you too is, and what a lot of people don't understand because you're such an amazing artist and you're a performer, you're really shy.
Yeah.
Don't you think? You're shy?
Yeah, like people would never understand that, when I'm on stage or when I've like finished a new album, I can talk about the album and say, hey, I love this album, I think it's the best thing. But, when I'm just like walking down the street, I'm a bit more shy and nervous, and people don't really, it doesn't come off when I'm rapping. When I'm rapping, I'm in my place like I'm on the court or something, and I'm
Right.
or I'm in the ring, and that's where I'm like my most powerful.
That's
So,
that's
yeah.
your thing. And so when you're around other people, I think people expect, don't you think that when people see you, they just expect you to break into a performance sometimes? It's like if you
Yeah.
meet a comedian.
So my girlfriend called me and I just thought to myself, please don't tell me that gay Kim Kardashian name. That's gonna be the worst thing.